Star Wars! What a great franchise. Remember when Luke did a thing with the thing, and then did some other things, and then made out with his sister? Good stuff. Not till 8 years after the release of Return of the Jedi did the Thrawn trilogy come out. And it was so good. So good, in fact, it exploded and opened up a world where there could be games and books that didn't focus on the main cast of the movies. Because those books introduced great characters like Mara Jade, Thrawn, Kebeoth, Talon Kard, and Rock. And so, after some of the most generic Star Wars games ever, they created Dark Forces, which started the magical journey of Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn was just a regular old Imperial officer who then switched sides thanks to his newfound sexy lady friend, Jan Ors. So he starts working with the Rebel Alliance, doing mercenary work for Mon Mothma. You know, that buff and spy lady, and that deleted scenes lady. Dark Forces was a really great game and had a similar engine to that of Duke Nukem 3D. But in Dark Forces you could jump! The game was so awesome that people who actually matter started thinking, why not have a game like this, but with lightsabers? Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight has better gameplay, the engine is more advanced and features real 3D. And if that wasn't enough, Kyle gets a beard and an actor to play him. I use the term actor lightly. He learns how to use the Force and wield a lightsaber, though he gets his lightsaber instead of constructing it, which is kinda cheating, but fuck it, he's badass. The main plot of Jedi Knight is that a gang of meanies who are up to no good kill Kyle's father, and Kyle gets super grouchy, and he goes after them one by one together with his still sexy lady friend, Jan Ors. It also turns out that the bad guys want the power that's inside the Force Nexus, known as the Valley of the Jedi, which really gives Kyle 2 reasons to stop them. This game also had alternative endings, but as most games like this that has a sequel, the good ending is canon, or you know, semi-canon now. Jedi Knight then got an expansion pack that everybody just wants to forget about. So let's do that. And now finally, 3 minutes and 12 seconds into the video, let's start comparing the shit out of the 2 last installments of this game franchise. Let's begin with what I call the first act of Jedi Outcast. So after the events of Dark Forces 2, Kyle has given up his Jedi duties. But he still works for Mon Mothma, who by the way was kind of forgotten in the last game. Oh well, Kyle and his lady friend Jan, who really isn't that hot anymore, is on their way to some mission, and Mothma mentions that there still are remnants lurking about. Remnants, of course, being the Imperial remnants, the remains of the Empire, who were also the villains from the last game. So, short intro, all we need to know has been said, and I like that Kyle has laid his saber on the shelf. Kyle as an operative is more like his character from Dark Forces. Anywho, Jan and Kyle land on the planet of Kijim, and you start off with the iconic Briar pistol. There are stormtroopers about, so one can guess those guys haven't had a change of heart since last time, so plenty of target practice.
Great.
Yeehaw! Well, looky here, the Briar pistol is great, but the E11 stormtrooper rifle is far superior in my opinion. All weapons have 2 gears, one regular shot and then a special shot. Briar pistol charges up for a more damaging blast, while the E11 stormtrooper rifle goes into rapid fire. Yeah, thanks. Now as far as first levels go, this is pretty damn good. I have one nitpick though. The very first puzzle is to activate a turret. Having a turret as one of the first mechanics is really good. But here it's just to open a door, which in turn teaches you as the player of breakable objects, which is relevant again about 10 seconds later. And then again 10 seconds after that. Learn by doing isn't really a new game design concept, but some games tend to forget it ever existed. Fuck you, tutorials! Outcast throws you right in though, and that's just great. The level design for the first level is some of the most fantastical level design I've ever seen. The Jedi Outcast levels to me are the best examples of non-linear levels. Figuring out where to go is almost a puzzle in their own right. And not in a boring way, you're not lost, you're thinking of where to go. No, I don't need you, go away! Let me show you what I mean by great level design. The main hall of the first level is part of the blue section of the map, and it's kinda the first room of the base you enter after unlocking the turret and blowing shit up. And now from there, via the breakable objects, we get access to these halls' control room. And if you explore a bit, you get to the main control room where there are some codes that need to be put in. And since these codes are colored with the same colors of the sections, it's kinda obvious where to look for the codes. And each area you grab a code from is different. In one section you have to save Jan's ass and make her come to the computer and use her computer skills to unlock the door the code is located in. And here's the funny thing, you can get the blue code before actually knowing you need codes to progress. That is fucking rare nowadays. Because games these days tend to lock off areas that you could easily access later. And their idiotic reasoning for that is, why would he go there? He has nothing to do there yet. So in those games you have to activate areas by talking to a quest giver or some stupid shit instead of actually exploring. Jedi Outcast supports exploring. Hell, when you get all the codes and finish the level, Kyle and Jan can just leave. But no! The whole reason that the second level even exists is because Kyle wanted to explore.
Jan, prep the ship for takeoff. I just want to check out one last area.
You might be thinking, hey Mr. Asshole, if this first level... Hey Mr. Asshole, if this first level is so great, I bet it's super big and have you backtracking all the time. Yeah, that's the thing, no. If the great big level requires you to backtrack, it makes it interesting. Crossing this nearly broken bridge destroys the bridge behind you, while also creating you a new path to take back. So all in all, the first level shows us you can explore how much you want while eventually being given a clear goal, instead of having you go to point A and point B on a fucking map. So Kyle's adventure continues in the second level and he is met by a welcoming party. Having this as the first thing you see in a level is quite a drop on you, as in the first level you at least had the ability to sneak up on the troopers. Here you don't even know that there is a horde of enemies next to you. This level is a continuation of the great variation from the first level, with some mice and puzzles. And the puzzles do have you scratching your head, only to find out yet again you should explore more. After further investigation, Kyle grabs a crystal and then leaves while you see a cutscene of Grand Admiral Galak Fayah. He is talking vaguely to someone about how Kyle Katarn can be of use to them.
Katarn, eh? This setback could prove to be the answer to all our problems.
And then on Coruscant, where Kyle and Jan have dragged their asses to report on their findings, Mon Mothma yabs on about the crystal Kyle brought from Kajim. And she says that those crystals are basically a sheet that can simulate force power. And there's a shit ton of them on a colony the Remnant just occupied.
Spast!
Kyle is charged with investigating that shit, so he hitches a ride to Artus Prime. Now, Artus Prime is a really fun planet. There's pipes and acid and everything. Now this is a good time to mention that in the big ass levels there are some tasty machines here and there that fill up your shield, and then small packets that give you a little health, and then of course Bacta tanks, which you can save for later. And in what I call the first act of Jedi Outcast, these are very important for your survival, and to find them, you guessed it, you have to explore. So towards the end of the first Artus Prime level, Kyle sets charges to stop the mining operation, which are farming all these crystals. And this of course makes his entrance into the second level rather conspicuous. Now, shit really picks up in the second level where there's a bunch of prisoners that need Kyle's help. Though before that, the thing I really have to make clear with the level design that makes it so great is how well connected everything is. Now, to release the prisoners you need the warden to unlock a door. You see a glimpse of his back in a window, and the fun thing with this is to enter that room you basically go around the room without really noticing it. There was a similar thing in Kajim where you pass by an area that you would eventually end up in. And this really gives you a big picture of the map. When you go from one place to another in this game, you really have no idea how close everything really is. It's so tight and they make the most of the given space of the levels. Okay, to balance this love letter out I must mention something bad, I guess. So here's my least favorite part in the game. Getting this piece of shit to unlock the door. He walks so slow. Yeah, that's really my least favorite part. When you're escorting Yan at Kejim, she at least ran. This fucker, on the other hand, is walking so slow he don't even care if he'll miss Wheel of Fortune tonight.
You won't get away with this, rebel scum!
I think I already have.
The warden unlocks the door anyway and then send a squad of Stormies to kill you, because that always works out so well for them. Kyle releases the prisoners, Stormies be mad, Kyle kills Stormies, escorts prisoners out where there's even more Stormies. Now, Kyle has to protect the prisoners from all the stormtroopers and fuck! Is that an ATST? That was underwhelming. The objective is to protect the prisoners from the remnant and then later make sure they can all flee with their ship by destroying motherfucking ion cannons. Now that the prisoners are safe, Kyle wants to leave, so Yan brings her ship around. Kyle goes over there to see his old formerly sexy lady friend, Yan Ors, is being kidnapped by what I believe is a woman. And if that wasn't enough, he's met with some backshot from a purple dinosaur.
Blast them, Kyle!
Kyle? Kyle Katarn? You're the legendary hero who destroyed Jarek at the Valley of the Jedi? You look like nothing more than a bantha herder.
Well, you look like an overgrown Kowakian monkey lizard, so I guess looks don't count for much. Hand her over.
That well-spoken Shistori is no other than Dasan, our villain for the evening. He don't really want to let Yan go, so he gives Kyle the beating of his life. Now, this fight is awesome. It's a lot like Mega Man X when you play against Wile in the first stage. Because he pounds you and then Zero shows up and shows off all the cool stuff you could be doing. Same thing here, the Sun shows that he is badass, while also showing off his force powers as well as his saber. This makes for great motivation to keep playing, as well as some foreshadowing. And, you know, an overall goal. So when Kyle is beaten, the Sun orders this so-called woman Tavion to kill Yan, which makes Kyle kinda angry.
Touch her.
On second thought, Tavion, kill her.
Kyle!
Dad!
I will remember you. Will you remember me?
They leave Kyle alone, so he goes to the Valley of the Jedi to restore his force powers.
What are you doing, Kyle?
I just told you. Oh, and that's Kyle's dad, if you were wondering. If you were wondering, play the game already! Kyle restores his force powers, but remembers that he forgot his saber about 13 billion parsecs away. So he travels to... Yavin 4. He stops by at the Academy. A Jedi Academy. No, not yet. Down. Down, boy. Down. Down. Hey, down. At the Academy, Kyle meets his old friend Luke, who has been safekeeping his lightsaber. Luke is a bit hesitant to give it back though, since Kyle is kind of angry about that whole Yan thing, which probably clouds his judgment. So Luke makes Kyle do some tryouts. And hey, remember that stuff about great foreshadowing? There's some of that here too. On the way to Luke, you can check out the Academy and see the Masters and Padawans training with their force powers and sabers. At least if you explore! At the trials you learn Force Push, so you can push bitches around, Force Pull, so you can pull and Force Speed, so you can pretend to be the Flash. Great mechanics, but let's face it, we're here for the saber. Once you've obtained it, it feels so fucking good! Oh, now the lightsaber, it just wows me that something this simple is so fantastically unique. The lightsaber controls are so great. Just press the mouse button and the directional key you want the saber to go. Bam boom great. I have a shit ton more to say about it, but Luke shows up and tell Kyle that he tracked Dasan's ship to a crime lord called Rilu Baruch. So Kyle takes his ship and goes to Nosha. Okay, fine! Let's talk about what I call the first act of Jedi Academy. The first thing you do is create a character. You can pick... But what the fuck? No fucking Kyle Katarn. I wanna be Kyle motherfucking Katarn. I wonder why this choice was made. Why introduce a new character and pick what he looks like? Why is it that games insist on having boring characters and sell them off as relatable characters? Does people want to see relatable over badass? For instance, another badass character is Dante from Devil May Cry. He kinda got replaced by Nero in Devil May Cry 4. And he was boring, almost as boring as Jaden. And then Dante turned into someone for annoying people to relate to. And here in Jedi Academy, the point of having a relatable character is instantly thrown out the window by having him being whatever species one wants. Do you guys think I relate to this Rodian? No. I picked it because Rodians are funny, and I don't know if that's racist or not. One might argue that the choice to pick your character was more along the lines of being able to play as whatever you want, except for the main character of the damn game franchise. Anyway, when you pick your character, you get the whole intro thing, and then you're treated to a scene where a space bus driver is taking you to the Yavin 4 Jedi Academy. Enter Rosh Pennin, the Jar Jar Binks for the evening. He is hyped that he's going to the academy, and he can't seem to shut the fuck up about it.
We're going to be Jedi! Learning the ways of the Force, building a lightsaber? Ah, of course, you already have one. I'm gonna get one of those stupid training sabers and
I wouldn't worry about that.
And thankfully they're interrupted by a beam that strikes the ship down, and now they have to walk to the academy. Oh, bummer. Check for casualties? Fuck that, I have places to be. As Rosh annoyingly said on the space school bus, Jaden already have a lightsaber. So you start out with a saber on the very first level. First order of business is to help Rosh out. Yeah, get used to that. The first level is basically a damn hallway from point A to point B. And it's so damn small. I'm fast forwarding through the first level right now, and the only reason I need to do that is because of all the cutscenes. This level is so linear and small, it is the exact opposite of Kajim in Jedi Outcast. At the end of the level, out of nowhere, you meet a sith. And then you get a cinematic where Jaden gets a beam to the face.
What?
Yeah, two things about that. Jaden gets the same beam in the face that totally destroyed the space school bus. And secondly, there was no point in destroying that ship. It was heading away from that temple. No one would have seen you if you didn't blow up that ship. Ah, screw it. Jaden wakes up to witness the most glorious thing ever.
Who are you? Kyle Katarn, at your service. Welcome to a day in the life of a Jedi.
Yeah, Kyle Katarn. Wonder what he's doing here.
Rosh Pennin, you will be assigned to Master Katarn. Jaden Core, you'll also work with Master Katarn.
Kyle Katarn, the guy who don't really care for the Jedi codes and the religious bull hockey, is now a teacher. Yep, that totally ruins his character. He's a damn mercenary that goes on adventures, not some fucking teacher working 9 to 5 every day with a steady income. Then we get a second super small level where you're just trying force powers out. And one force power is semi-new. Force Sense, where you can see stuff otherwise unseen. After that shit you get to level up your force powers. So first time around you can just get heal. You will never die then, not once. Well, maybe by falling. And maybe by sith. Why sith? Because it's never fucking clear how much damage they actually do. After you pick the force power to level up, heal, you get the real levels. And this is how the entire game is lined up. You do 4 obligatory missions. You can do the 5th one if you want, it's optional. After each mission you can level up a force power. And when you've done all 4 or 5, you get a mission that's basically the only missions that has anything to do with the main story. Let's see if these missions are better than the 2 first ones. Let's start with Blael, whatever. Your ship crashes next to another crashed ship. Luckily, that crashed ship happens to have all the parts you need to leave. And this is basically a level of the floor is lava. Touch the ground and a giant earthworm jumps up and tries to eat you. And it has some of the worst level design I've seen. It's a level where you do nothing but run back and forth. Grab a part, go back, grab another part, go back. Do this shit 4 times and you're done.
Well, that should do it. Gotta get off this crazy rock.
There's one level here that tries to be more like Jedi Outcast though, but it also introduces something extremely monotonous. The good thing is that it's a level that's semi-well connected. It does have some unnecessary unused space however. It's a mission where you have to defuse bombs. And the monotonous thing about this is that in every act where there are 5 missions, there's at least one bomb mission. Which makes the levels quite monotonous. Sure, you get to pick levels that's at different planets and have different looks, but fuck, it's so formulaic. Well, more on that later. Let's do a mission that's a one-off concept instead. Corellia. Here you have to stop a moving train. In theory it sounds fun, but then again on the subject of level design, a train is quite linear, yes? You have the inside, and if you're feeling gutsy you also have a roof. So imagine a whole level where you're passing through carts either by roof or its inside. Sometimes both. But this is so basic. Don't get me wrong, this is definitely passable level design, but when compared to Jedi Outcast it's putrid shit. The same people worked on this, right? Oh, and this level also has bumps. Yay. Okay, this is bumming me out. When you're done with the missions you get the story mission, where Luke sends you off to Hoth, where it shows it's trying to do the Outcast design again. But it fails miserably by having empty, vast, giant areas of nothing. It introduces a new mechanic, however. Tauntaun riding! At least Hoth is big enough to be in 2 levels, but that could have been avoided without the whole empty place built around Tauntaun riding. Well, it's kinda cool to be walking around Hoth at least. Towards the end of Hoth you finally meet a hot lady. She's basically the whole reason you've been sent to Hoth. She kinda stole a datapad from Luke in the beginning. And that datapad had a list full of places that has strong force readings. And you want to figure out what the hell they want that for. But she wants to wrestle you. And why would you stop her? The fight in itself is just like fighting a regular Sith though.
We'll meet again, whelp.
I can't wait.
Great dialogue, people. Let's regroup Monday and print this shit. Well, the game just released. Good game, let's go collect our paychecks. Jaden returns to the academy to report. But then Luke says that Rush didn't come back from his mission. Yeah, who the fuck cares? This sums up what I call the first act of Jedi Academy. Let's compare. One had 5 giant levels and a small level. The other had 2 abysmally small levels, 5 medium levels, and 2 big levels.
Size matters not. Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you?
Sorry Yoda, you're right. This shouldn't be about size. Look at it like this. In Outcast you're given levels that complement the gameplay with levels that makes you think. While in Academy you can breeze through the levels without an extra thought. There is no need for exploring in Academy as the levels are pretty straightforward. You always know where to go since the level is shoving it down your throat. And in this particular instance, that's bad. You know, you can look at it this way, Yoda. In Academy it's like you're given 2 small, 5 medium and 2 big Toyota Corollas. While in Outcast you're given 5 Lamborghinis and a Mini Cooper. Advantage Outcast.